The problem with not being from a specific area is you may not be able to pronounce things properly. There's a good chance I'm about to do that here. Welcome to Whiskey Catapult, where we catapult around the world trying whiskeys from all over the world. And today we are catapulting over to Ireland for some Knappogue Castle. Knappogue Castle? Not exactly sure how to properly pronounce that, but I feel like that's close enough. So this is their 14-year single malt Irish whiskey. It is triple distilled, it is non-chill filtered, and it is 46% ABV. This is their twin wood release that is aged in two types, which is bourbon barrels and sherry, uh, Oloroso sherry casks. So hopefully some interesting combinations here. Very sweet nose. Got some nice classic butterscotch. A little bit of faint oak. A little bit of barrel spice. It's very fresh. Not quite like fresh linens, but like in that kind of realm. A little bit of butter too. It's got a very nice nose. Very juicy. Butterscotch comes through. Has that light oak spice just barely grazing the bottom of the palate. Some light fruit. Actually, it's kind of apricot. It's kind of what I'm getting there. A little bit of shortbread cookie. So very classic Irish notes, Irish whiskey notes. Really good viscosity too. Yeah, lingers a little while on the finish. Still sweet. Still has some of that kind of butterscotch coming through. And that nice oak just kind of floats along the bottom too. So yeah, finish is still hitting. I imagine it's still going to hit for a little while longer. So very good. So Knappogue Castle is relatively new for me. I know that from their regular releases, they have a 12-year, a 14, and a 16-year-old. I got this one because it's the only one that was 46% and non-chill filtered. I can't say for sure, for certain, if the 12 and the 16 are non-chill filtered. But they are 43%. This one's 46, so I was like, well, a little bit more oomph on the ABV. I like the idea of two different casks, always a good thing. So I figure I'd give it a try. Specifically calls out non-chill filtered on the bottle. I don't remember the other ones doing that. And since it was a lower ABV, possibly on there, it says limited release, but I've been seeing this around for quite a while. So I don't entirely know if it's actually like a limited run and once they're gone, they're gone. But from what I do know of Knappogue Castle, assuming I pronounced that correctly, is they do source their stuff. It says distilled, matured, and bottled in Ireland. Doesn't say what distillery it came from. Just says product of Ireland. So they don't really give much information on there about what distillery they're using for it. But at the end of the day, good whiskey is good whiskey. If you want to source some stuff, I'm not going to complain. But it drew my attention. I actually got this as a Christmas present from my wife. She got it for me after I helped pick it out. But yeah, I've always really enjoyed their single casks that they do, which I've got one here with me, just so you know what they look like. This is their cask finish series. That this one specifically is in Marsala casks, and it's 46%. But this is how I got into Knappogue Castle. I picked up one for a pretty good deal and really enjoyed it. And anytime I see a single cask one like this, I snag it. They've always been really good, really interesting. So those are always on my radar. And after having, I think about two of those, I was like, let me try their official release and kind of see how that goes down. So this is the one I figured I'd start with. Probably better idea to start with the 12, but the price really wasn't that different. I got this one for about 70 bucks US. That was about 2 years ago. Prices have gone up a little bit since then, but I imagine it's still around that ballpark. and this one was about $20 less than their 16-year, the next level up. So seemed like a better value for me for the ABV and all that stuff. So I figure I'd give it a try. Yeah, sitting in the glass for a little bit. The sweetness is toned down just a bit. That butter's still coming through, butterscotch. It still has that kind of faint oak and kind of barrel spice just at the base of it. It still has like that freshness to it. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's very nice. Mm. Kind of in that classic vein of an Irish whiskey, like a Jameson or something like that, but a little bit more oomph and flavor to this one. It actually goes really well because you can get a little bit of the sherry in there, but it's not overpowering. There's a lot of whiskeys that do sherry as a second maturation in there that it kind of overtakes it. This one's a very nice combination of the sherry and the bourbon kind of blending together. Yeah, still have that nice apricot coming through. Still has that oak on the base. It's light, it's juicy. Yeah. It's really good. Finish lasts a long time, so yeah. I'm a fan of this one. So let me add a little bit of water to this. So I just added 5 drops, so not a ton. 46% doesn't need a ton of water, I don't think. Don't want to drown it, which I've done that before pretty easily with some Irish whiskeys, so you got to be careful when they're on the lighter side. That could happen pretty quickly. They do have some higher end releases too. I've seen a 21 year, and I believe I've seen a 25 year as well. Those get pretty costly. I haven't really felt the need to jump the gun on that side. It's a little out of my budget for some stuff, but 14 is a solid entry point in my opinion for them. But okay, water hasn't changed the nose too much. I do get a little more of that oak and spice coming through now. Just a bit. But it still just has that nice butterscotchy kind of note to it. It still has that freshness in there. Yeah, it doesn't change it up too much. Still juicy. Still has that apricot in there. There's a little bit of just a hint of bitterness in there. Just a bit. Shortbread cookies kind of falling down a bit. But that fruit, the butterscotch, that oak spice, the main feature of this one is still there and rearing. So, yeah. I've been enjoying this one. I've seen, I've drank a little bit here and there. I honestly kind of forgot I had it and just had it in the back of the closet for a while. So it's now in the light of day. It's on my shelf. Anything I have up here on my shelf, I try and drink pretty regularly because you got visibility into it. You're more likely to see it and be like, oh, I haven't had that in a while. Ooh. So sorry if everything's a little out of proportion from my other videos. I've got a different table set up here. Trying it out and see if it works a little bit better. Yeah. This one's great. I like it. So if you're looking for something in the same vein as an Irish whiskey, but just like Irish kind of adjacent to like the regular profile, this one's a good pickup. This one's a good that I recommend, especially if you like sherry cask and Irish whiskey. This one's a really good one. I really appreciate that this one's 46%, non-chill filtered. It doesn't say natural color on here, so can't speak to that part. But yeah, I'm digging it for the price I got it for. If you get this for about 70 to 75 bucks, I think it's a good pickup, good find. And like I said, if you ever find the single cask ones, the cask finish series, I should say, grab those. They're all great. all the ones I've had are great, and they're really interesting. Good ones to have on in the collection, in my opinion. So yeah. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe to see where we catapult off to next. Cheers.